This is Torenza del Vale, a woman who walked into the airport with quiet confidence and an accent no one could quite place. She claimed she had just arrived from abroad, speaking of cities and streets that sounded real, but weren't on any map. When the officer asked for her passport, her hands began to shake. She searched her bag again and again, until all that remained was a single ID card, from a country no one had ever heard of. In that moment, the busy airport seemed to fall silent. Who was Torenza del Vale, and where had she really come from? As they walked away, the terminal lights flickered again. The young man tightened his grip around her arm, guiding her toward the exit. Outside, the city's evening glow shimmered across wet pavements. Inside the car, silence lingered. Amina stared out the window, the name Torenza del Vale still echoing in her mind like a forgotten song. The nephew glanced at her through the rearview mirror, concern flickering in his eyes. "Aunt," he said quietly, "who's Torenza?" She didn't answer. The faintest smile touched her lips, the kind that hides more than it reveals. "Just someone," she whispered, "I used to be." The car drove into the fading light, leaving behind an identity that never existed, and a truth that no one would ever fully understand. The car hummed softly as the city lights drifted past the windows, painting golden streaks across Torenza's tired face. Rain tapped gently on the windshield, steady, rhythmic, almost comforting. The tension of the airport had begun to fade, replaced by the quiet hum of the road and the soft music playing from the dashboard. Her nephew glanced at her with a teasing smile. "You told everyone you came from Spain," he said, half joking, half curious. Torenza turned her eyes away from the glass, her reflection looking older, smaller, almost unfamiliar. For a moment, she said nothing, then a faint, embarrassed smile appeared. "Yes," she whispered, "maybe that was my little lie." The nephew laughed softly, shaking his head. "You and your stories, Aunt. Everyone at home is waiting. They think you've been on some grand adventure." She smiled again, but there was sadness in it, the kind that lives behind old memories. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "people make up stories when they've forgotten who they really are." The car slowed at a red light. Outside, children ran through puddles, their laughter echoing faintly. Torenza watched them, her fingers tightening around her bag. "In Spain," she added, almost to herself, "I was someone, confident, important. Not lost." Her nephew turned down the radio. "You're not lost, Aunt. You're home now." The light turned green, and the car moved again, the city stretching ahead like a promise. Torenza closed her eyes, breathing deeply. The sound of rain faded, replaced by her nephew's voice, warm, familiar, safe. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to believe it. Torenza's fingers trembled as she unzipped her leather bag, pulling out papers, tickets, and a small perfume bottle, but no passport. Her breathing quickened. The airport noise around her faded into a dull hum, replaced by the frantic sound of her own heartbeat. A bead of sweat rolled down her temple as she whispered under her breath, "Oh God, where's my passport?" The immigration officer leaned forward, his tone polite but firm. "Ma'am, please show your passport." Torenza glanced up, eyes wide, panic flashing behind them. For a brief second, her confident traveler's mask slipped, revealing fear, confusion, and something else. Something she was trying to hide. Torenza's pulse pounded in her ears as she clutched the phone, her eyes darting between the officer and the crowd beyond the glass barrier. The world around her seemed to blur, announcements echoed, footsteps rushed by, yet she felt trapped in slow motion. The officer's voice came again, firmer this time, "Ma'am, if you can't show your passport, please come with me." Her throat went dry. "Just one call," she whispered to herself, unlocking her phone with trembling fingers. On the glowing screen, a single name appeared, "Home." She pressed the button. For a long moment, nothing happened, then the faint ringing broke the silence. Each ring felt heavier than the last, echoing through her chest. She closed her eyes, praying someone would answer. Then, a click. A woman's voice, soft and uncertain. Hello. Torenza's lips quivered. It's me. Torenza. Please, listen carefully. I need you to call my nephew, now. The officer watched, suspicion tightening his jaw. Torenza turned slightly away, shielding her face. The lights above flickered, and the terminal noise seemed to fade completely. This was it, the moment that would change everything. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed across the polished airport floor. People turned as a young man pushed through the crowd, his eyes searching every face. When he finally spotted her, the woman in the faded coat, clutching a half-open bag, his pace quickened. "Aunt," he shouted, relief breaking through his voice. Torenza froze. The officer looked up from his desk, puzzled, as the young man rushed forward, breathless and smiling. "Aunt! Where have you been? We've been looking everywhere. Come, I'll take you home." The officer's pen stopped midair. He glanced from the young man to the woman standing before him. "Aunt," he repeated, slowly. "So, your name isn't Torenza?" Torenza's lips parted, but no words came. The lie she had built so carefully now hung between them like fog. The young man stepped closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "She gets confused sometimes," he said softly, his voice protective but uneasy. "Her name's not Torenza. It's Amina." The officer leaned back in his chair, studying them. "Amina," he repeated, his tone neutral, but his eyes curious. "And this passport you mentioned?"